morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is my pleasure to welcome you to this morning's virtual roundtable discussion in celebration of Administrative Professionals Day 2022. The last 2 years were no doubt filled with numerous challenges brought on by the COVID-19 pandemic, and you, our administrative professionals of the UWI Mona, carried most of the burdens of adapting and pivoting to a new environment. We are now back to normal operations, and the success of implementing a new normal for the Mona rests with you, our administrative professionals. You are the backbone of our operations and key to our continued success. It is therefore fitting that we take some time to celebrate you on this International Administrative Professionals Day. This is your day, one for you to relax, release, reflect, and re-energize, to level up, to gain momentum by improving your skill set, taking and creating opportunities to develop your career, all while adding value to your role at the UA. To help you, we have a dynamic discussions where we want you to actively participate in. I promise it will be an informative, innovating, and rejuvenating discussion, ladies and gentlemen. The program will be very quick and we aim to keep it on time. It's scheduled for no more than an hour and a half, and we aim to be on time. We have 2 sections. We will have greetings from our very own Dr. Marina Ramkisoon, Director of Human Resource Management Division, Dr. Adrian Lawrence, Dean of the Faculty of Engineering, and representative of the Campus Committee of Deans. We will also hear from Mr. Jeffrey Thompson, the Monarch's President. We will then follow through with our virtual roundtable discussion, where we will have industry professionals sharing with you their wealth of expertise and knowledge. We have Mrs. Naomi Holness, Chief HR Officer of Grace Kennedy Company Limited, who will share with you skills, knowledge, and abilities needed for the 21st century. We also have Ms. Kadian Morris, HR Relations Manager from Sagicor Group Jamaica, who will share with us on how we can seize opportunities to engage in our career development. And we have our very own Mrs. Marvette Thompson, Facey Thompson, Assistant Registrar at the regional headquarters, who will speak to us on how we can add more values to our roles as we carry on our daily tasks. So, colleagues, let us all make this a wonderful day, a great start to a very awesome day for us administrative professionals. So join me in welcoming Dr. Marina Ramkisoon. Dr. Ramkisoon, you may go ahead.
Thank you very much, Indira. Good morning, colleagues. I'm honored to bring greetings at this virtual roundtable in recognition of International Administrative Professionals Day 2022. For each and every one of us who gives our best, and to those who go above and beyond, I wish for you a wonderful Administrative Professionals Day filled with recognition, appreciation, and reflection. In thinking about the theme of leveling up, I'd like to share some food for thought very quickly. The theme reminds me of one of my favorite quotations, which is, keep your feet on the ground and keep reaching for the stars. In the context of the UWI, keeping your feet on the ground means recognizing the realities we face daily as we fulfill this awesome purpose that we have been given to educate and to advance learning and knowledge. Recognizing reality means that we have to keep in mind, for instance, that we've been facing a pandemic for 2 years now. It also means recognizing constraints as well as opportunities. Looking to the stars, though, is what we as resilient human beings do best. It's one of our finest qualities. We dream and we reach for our dreams. So we seek to make our dreams come true and to make them into reality. And successful people do this every day for themselves and for others. The work of the administrative professionals is absolutely critical to the smooth reality and operations of the UWI MONA. So as we navigate our realities, let us keep dreaming and advancing and improving and reaching for the stars. So as you contemplate leveling up today, think on what you expect for yourselves, your health, your wealth, and your spirit. There is life outside of working here, and keeping well-rounded keeps us grounded. Let us also level up in terms of our work performance, level up for your team, level up for the students, level up in terms of what you bring to the table, your reasonableness, your integrity, and personal accountability. As you commit to this great purpose that we're all working on, this opportunity to work here at UWI MONA, know that the organization is leveling up as well, and you must hold us accountable to that on our journey. The administration is leveling up. We are dreaming to make a better reality for all of us. HR is dreaming to serve our clients with higher quality service, greater efficiencies, and focusing on the development of all of our greatest assets, the human resources. We are making progress, and it doesn't happen overnight, and we need everybody to be on board. But the administration is leveling up too. Let us all level up in terms of our positivity, the mindset change that's needed, the teamwork, the collaboration, and the hope that we will all reach the stars one day. So as we celebrate Administrative Professionals Day, as we participate in this excellent forum, let us reach for the stars. I want to thank the organizers for this event. It's such an important forum. Let us have more of it, and let us work together. Thank you very much, colleagues. Have a wonderful day, and I look forward to the rest of the session. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ramkisoon. Positivity, teamwork, collaboration, yes, key to our continued success. Now we will have Dr. Adrian Lawrence. Dr. Lawrence.
Thank you, Ms. Adujar. Good morning, colleagues across the MONA campus. Let me start by wishing our very hard-working administrators a very, very happy Administrative Professionals Day. This year, I have the distinct honor of bringing greetings on behalf of the MONA Committee of Deans to the group of colleagues that we consider to be the heartbeat and backbone of the MONA campus. The job of an administrative professional, despite being essential to the operations of the university and critical to the quality of our final output, is often a thankless one. And so I commend the organizers of this year's event for allowing the entire campus to pause for a few hours to show our appreciation. My fellow deans and I know all too well that the efficient day-to-day functioning of our faculties, departments, and units are a result of the commitment, diligence, integrity, and pride with which our administrative professionals approach their jobs. You are the smiling face and the helping hand to our students as they navigate their way through our programs, the guides and compasses to our lecturers, and the saviors to sometimes hapless deans. I personally have met and interacted with dedicated and highly effective administrative professionals within the Office of Admissions, RIS, Office of Student Financing, the Bursary, Examinations, the Office of Student Services and Development, the Deputy Principal's Office, HRMD, the Secretariat, Graduate Studies, the Libraries, Marketing, Recruiting and Communications Office, and the various faculty offices. A special thank you to my administrators here in the Faculty of Engineering. I've also seen firsthand the level of specialization in the provision of administrative leadership and the support in all of the offices, and I am extremely grateful to have all of you as colleagues. This year, Administrative Professionals Day is being commemorated under the theme Leveling Up, which recognizes that while the UA has achieved much over the 60 years of our existence as an independent university, evidenced by our ranking in the top 4% of universities worldwide, the top 2% in Latin America and the Caribbean, and in the top 1% of the Golden Age universities, all of us, administrative, academic, technical, and support staff, working together can still take UA to a higher level. Leveling up should not be taken to mean that current practices are not good enough. Leveling up should be seen as taking a system and making it even more efficient. The example I would use is the battery in an electric vehicle. Initially, being able to drive 50 miles on one charge was seen as a breakthrough achievement. It allowed persons to commute from home to work, to the supermarket, and back home. Then, improvements were made to the point where an electric vehicle can go upwards to 250 miles before needing to be charged. This means, therefore, that an electric vehicle can now travel from the Mona campus to the Western Jamaican campus without having to be charged again, meaning only on one single charge. This improvement has opened the electric vehicle market to more persons with a variety of needs. The same can be done for the UA. Increased efficiency will open the doors of our university to more students, allowing us to maximize the first A in our AAA strategy. That is, being more accessible to our students, clients, and stakeholders. Leveling up also means increasing our knowledge and skills to ensure that our methods and practices align with the needs of those we seek to serve. By leveling up, colleagues, we need to build on many positives and transform the university to meet the challenges of the post-COVID world, where our students, clients, and stakeholders have grown accustomed to online and on-demand services. This new expectation of our service delivery has no doubt increased the workload and strain on all of us. So we should be mindful to continue the fostering of an environment where the entire UA Mona team feels cared for while being held accountable and motivated to carry out their duties professionally. This, colleagues, is how we remain agile. In closing, colleagues, we all have a role to play in leveling up our university. Where there are opportunities to be more efficient and effective, we should take them. If there are new ways to do things, we should not be afraid to try them. And perhaps most importantly, we must contribute to the cultivation of a culture of accountability, which sees us perform our duties to the best of our abilities. If we do this, colleagues, the University of the West Indies will truly become a university for all. Be the first choice for alumni and non-student customers seeking products and services, and continue to deliver its primary mandate of serving in the advancement of the Caribbean community and sustaining of its development. So again, on behalf of the Mona Deans, I sincerely thank all administrative professionals of the University of the West Indies. We acknowledge and commend you for the important work that you do and appreciate the tremendous effort that so many of you exert to ensure that the high standards of the university are maintained and the needs of the entire campus community are met. So thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Lawrence. Efficiency and effectiveness and accountability indeed from our administrative staff are indeed the way how we will level up or continue to level up as a university. Thank you. Mr. Thompson, you may go ahead.
Thank you. Chair and Administrative Officer, Ms. Indira Ajuda, Dean of the Faculty of Engineering and representative of the Campus Committee of Deans, Dr. Adrian Lawrence, Director of Human Resource Management, Dr. Marina Ramkisoon, discussion panelists, administrative professionals, and other guests, colleagues, good morning. It gives me great pleasure on behalf of the Mona Administrative and Technical Staff Association, MONAT, to extend warm greetings to all our administrative colleagues as we celebrate your work, worth, and contribution to our noble institution, the University of the West Indies. Take credit in the fact that you have played and will continue to play your part in ensuring that the university's vision to be an excellent global university rooted in the Caribbean is achieved and maintained. When assessed on our national, regional, and international impact, the UWI is ranked among the best universities globally. Indeed, the light rising from the West. It's no secret that this success could only be achieved through teamwork and the collective will of the workforce, of which our administrative professionals are intricately woven in the various processes at different levels and therefore deserving of commendation. Kudos to our administrative professionals who successfully navigated through the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic, thus maximizing job output in spite of the challenges and is irrespective of the physical location of the workspace. Your resourcefulness and stick-to-itiveness helped in ensuring that the UWI maintains relevance to its core customers and other stakeholders. Ladies and gentlemen, I therefore join faculty in applauding our administrative professionals for jobs well done. However, akin to Paul in his letters to the Philippians, I implore us not to consider that we have made it, but strain forward to what lies ahead and press on towards the goal for the prize. Thank you all and ever blessings.
Thank you, Mr. Thompson, for those warm words of encouragement to our admin professionals. You lead the team well. Now, colleagues, we will have a musical selection from Mr. Saeed Bowman, student, BSc, student from the Faculty of Engineering. Thank you, Mr. Bowman, for such a soothing and refreshing steel pan selection. Colleagues, admin professionals, the theme is leveling up. And we heard about leveling up in terms of positivity, teamwork, collaboration, increasing our efficiency and effectiveness and accountability, as well as maximizing our roles. What more can we ask for as individuals? It is always critical to reach for the skies and leveling up, maximizing our potential in our careers, in our personal life, and in every aspect of our lives. Is always important. So colleagues, let us continue the discussion and let us continue to learn and get some encouragement on how we can continue to level up. So we will move now to the second part of our program where we will hear from our presenters. I invite my colleague, Ms. Asnat Shah, who will introduce Mrs. Naomi Holness. Ms. Sharp.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Let me introduce our first speaker, Mrs. Naomi Holness, who is an executive with over 30 years experience in human resource management. She joined Grace Kennedy as Group Personal Services Manager in 2004 and has been promoted to a series of HR roles up to her current role of Chief Human Resources Officer, Grace Kennedy Limited. Prior to working at Grace Kennedy, she held several positions in the human resources field at Cable and Wireless Jamaica Limited. Mrs. Holness holds a Bachelor of Science degree in Economics and Management from the UWI and a Master of Business Administration from the University of New Orleans. In addition, she holds the internationally recognized certification, Global Professional in Human Resources, from the Human Resources Certification Institute in USA. She is a member of the Society for Human Resources Management, Human Capital Institute, and Human Resource Management Association of Jamaica. She's an executive member of the Hampton Old Girls Association. Mrs. Holness is married with 2 children. In her spare time, she enjoys reading, watching movies, and traveling. Thank you so much, Mrs. Holness.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Sharp. Good morning, everyone. All protocols observed. It's my pleasure to be here. Happy Admin Professionals Day to all of you. I wish I was seeing you so I could see the bright faces as you're being celebrated today. Right here in GK, we have also been celebrating our team members, and I've been hearing some of those profound sentiments that were shared by those who brought greetings earlier of the value and impact that you make each and every day. So it's my pleasure to be here to add to that job of leveling up, that focus today about leveling up. And I love the perspective that was shared earlier about leveling up means, looking at improving efficiency. Leveling up means a lot of things. It's building on top of. And as I listen to that excellent rendition from that student, I reflect when I look at where I'm coming from. I'm blessed because I didn't start out where I am today, and I believe not many of us did. And so how do we, how do we create that path, that journey, so that we can level up? My job today is just to focus on a few key areas, and I would like to just bring up a few slides in that regard. 1 second. What are you seeing? Are you seeing presenter slide? Thoughts on leveling up, focusing on skills, knowledge, and abilities. And, as HR, there are many questions that are often asked by persons, including our admin professionals. How do I grow in my career? How do I become more marketable? How do I increase my earning potential? How do I become more successful? What type of talent are organizations looking for today? Or I feel stuck. What should I do to push myself over this hump? How can I improve my performance? What development opportunities should I pursue? And so it's a point to reflect at one of those key questions. What type of talent are organizations looking for today? And, you know, I heard it said earlier about the fact that the university has a vision, and the university has been growing and excelling and has achieved being in the top 1.5%? I don't remember the number, but you're big, you're up there. So you have a journey that you're going through. And as admin professionals, how do you grow with that organization? How do you grow with the UWI? What skills is the university looking for? And do you have those skills? But what was interesting in each of the greetings that I heard earlier, I didn't hear any mention of skills. I heard attributes. I heard teamwork, the value of the teamwork that brings people together, that allows us to get things done, right? I heard how intricately woven the processes in the university is, and like any other organization, how important your role is. I heard resourcefulness to ensure that UWI remains relevant. Those are excellent attributes. And it takes me into a few points that I have in terms of what our organization's looking for, what skills, knowledge and experience and abilities. The truth is organizations are more and more looking for attributes. They're looking for high potential, not necessarily some specific qualifications. That's important, but depending on what you bring to the table, it sets the foundation for many other things. So organizations are looking for growth mindset, the belief that you will continuously evolve, and your belief in lifelong learning, having that attitude. Organizations are looking for constructive collaboration and influencing. As admin professionals, you are in an enviable position. You are aligned to persons in the seat of influence. You're aligned to people that are the decision makers, right? How do you value that? How do you utilize that? Their organizations are looking for innovation, innovative thinking and problem solving. How have you seen your role in that regard? What new processes have you brought to bear? How do you improve on a process, remove a manual process and replace it with something creative, something new, something that reduces the time that you'd have taken to perform the task? Organizations are looking for agility and resilience, and would have experienced that through the pandemic. We are blessed to have the team members that we have with us who understand the business, understand the people, and could work through the challenges of COVID-19, and our organizations are stronger for it. My own organization would have spoken a lot about the fact that we had one of our best years in 2020 because people just pulled together in a time of challenge. Organizations are even looking for us to take on more, to be willing to take on more complex roles. And of course, a commitment to self-development and having an impact. And so that's where I want to focus, less on what are the specific knowledge and skills that you need to have. Because one thing I've learned about admin professional jobs is that they vary from area to area, depending on where you work. There is a profound opportunity to learn as you move across different roles as an admin professional. So if you're the AP in the finance department, you have the opportunity to learn about finance. If you are the AP in marketing, the opportunity to learn about marketing. And so just as an example, if you're an admin, you have the opportunity to learn the details, all those intricate processes I just mentioned about. So you know from where you sit a lot about the business and how you can add value, how you can impact. So as we share with you today, I'm saying challenge yourself with a few of these questions. What is my true purpose? am I purpose-driven in my life and work? What am I doing? Why am I here? You know, when I started or having graduated, I wanted to be a marketer. But I didn't have the wherewithal to buy a car at the time. And most of the jobs, or all the jobs that were around, were looking for persons with a car. I ended up taking a clerical job in a personnel department. So you see how long ago that is, because we're talking about personnel, not HR. And that was with the Jamaica Telephone Company. And I, you know, coming out with your degree, you're expecting to get something based on what you studied. But I went to it with an attitude that I'm going to make an impact. And I found that just by writing excellent notes when I was brought into a union meeting, I was suddenly being called on to capture notes. And the next thing I know, I was involved in interviews. The next thing I know, I was part of a team that was involved with what I now call a merger. You know, you hear about mergers and acquisition. And telephone company the government said that we were to take over the telegraph unit. And it was the first opportunity that I sat in a room watching a senior person working out a plan as to how we'd look at the roles that people were performing in that department and how we would look at how they would be brought into the telephone company. And I look back now, and all of those were learning about what today is mergers and acquisition, a big topic. The point I'm making is that as an AP, you're in an enviable position to learn a lot just by paying attention to the nature of the work that is being done. So there are the attributes: trustworthiness, innovative, dedicated, accurate, excellent communication skills, reliable, positive attitude. The skills, the ability to capture notes, to do minute taking, to do records management, to generate reports, letter writing. Those are some of the types of skills that you would have. But depending on the area that you're in, you may be the budget holder. You know, you may be the one that is holding on to the kitty when you're supposed to plan an event, when you're supposed to fund something. You're the gatekeeper, you know? So what are the different skills? What are you expert in? What are you moderate in? What are you beginner in? I remember having an employee who joined me, and I told her that, I asked her if she knew how to use Visio, and she said no. And I said, okay, I think it'd be very useful in the role that you have to perform. So I'm going to order the license for you, and we can then arrange training. She did everything. I told her how to do the ordering. I just approved it. And then one day I saw her with her headphone on. And I tapped her on her shoulder. I said, what are you up to? And she said, she is doing a YouTube video on how to use Visio. I said, oh, it came. She said, oh, yes, it came. And I've been reading about it, and I decided to go teach myself. And I actually have a sample of some of the charts that I've created. Now, imagine how I felt for someone who was just willing to go after what she needed to learn. She wasn't waiting to be taught, right? So a lot is about the attitude and the attributes, and that's what 21st century organizations are looking for. I know I don't have a lot of time, so I won't belabor it. It's just to create, the thought process around the different ways in which you can move from where you are today to grow in your career. Now, in my experience, admin professionals can move into many roles. And I have two examples I'd like to share with you today. I have an HR manager who started out as an admin. And one of the things that I know about her is her organizational skills. Very meticulous, quick, and committed. And I think her manager saw in her the ability to move from that role into others. So first she moved into become an HR assistant. So she moved from admin assistant to HR assistant. And then she moved to HR officer, senior HR officer, and now she's an HR manager here reporting into me. That's one example. A few years ago, we also did a focus on career management in GK. And one of the admins went and met with her manager and told him about her desire to be in marketing. And some of the factors that came into her journey was the absolute involvement that she had, because every time we had any foods activities, marketing activities, she was always involved. She volunteered for everything. She was willing to be a part of the team. She just didn't stay in her box. She grew where she was planted, and people saw in her the attributes to branch in. And so what it required was just teaching her the specifics of brand management. And so I'm saying, wherever you are, there is an opportunity to learn. You just need to know what it is that I want and how do I get there, and have a mind and a willingness to learn and to grow. I'm going to stop at this point so that one other slide quickly. It is the 70-20-10 rule, that we learn 70% of our knowledge on the job, 20% from others, and 10 from formal organization. You agree with that? We can debate it. It really says that in your role now, it's what I was talking about. How much are you learning in the job? What opportunities are you taking on to learn in another area and to build that body of knowledge so that you can grow in your career? I'll pause at this point and hand over to my next team member.
Thank you, Mrs. Holness. Wow, leveling up. The 70-20-10 rule, very important. Learning at work, learning from others, learning on the job, and your formal education. Sometimes we tend to miss that, Mrs. Holness. Boy, very interesting. You dropped some interesting trinkets, skill sets, growth mindset, continuous learning, adapting to your environment, constructive collaboration, and influence. Influence is very important to us as admin professionals. Innovative thinking and problem solving. That was a great example of the young lady who just volunteered, who just showed her skills everywhere, and it was seen. Most times that is how we have to level up, to show who we are, to step outside of our comfort zone so we can be seen. And it ties right back to commitment and to your own self-development and the impact that you have. I love it when you spoke about what is my purpose and what am I here to do? What am I put on this earth to do? And what are the skills that I need to do that? Most times we don't ask ourselves that. I am consistently asking myself that these days. And colleagues, I encourage you, level up. Mrs. Holness gave us very good trinkets to think about. What are our core values? Thank you so much, Mrs. Holness. We look forward to hearing from Miss Kadian Morris. Go ahead, Ms. Peter Gay-McEwan with her introduction.
Good morning. Thank you, Indira. Results and goal-oriented, focused, committed, passionate, people-focused, and related to many attributes that define the auspicious human resource manager for the banking of the Sagicor Group. 16 years of progressive experience in this field, Kadian for the past 5 has had the opportunity to pursue for human resource practices, policy processes. She's an agile generalist who embraces objectives that provides the ideal experience, cultivates teams through talent development, as well as fosters a culture of empowerment through the development of a skilled workforce. To shine in her role, receiving recommendations for her commitment ethics. The most recent of recognized and awarded as a manager for the group Human Resource 2020. Ms. Mo holds an MSc degree in development from the University of her solid education, along with her practical experience and belief in the enrichment of the employee experience, makes Kadian the content resources champion. This is lifelong learning and is always of going above. Ms. Morris.
Thank you so much, Peter Gay. Can you hear me properly?
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. Good morning, everyone, and happy Administrative Professional Day to all administrative professionals online. Like Naomi said, I wish I was able to see all of you and see all those bright faces, but we understand what is happening in light of the pandemic. And we hope that we will be having a session like this in a different forum come next year. All right, so I'm just gonna pause a bit to share my screen and someone can just let me know when you are seeing it.
Yes, we are. You can go in slideshow mode.
Okay. Are you seeing it in slideshow?
Yes.
Thank you so much. All right, team. So this morning I have the privilege to share with you on your topic, seizing opportunities and taking my career to the next level. And as I listened to Naomi earlier, you know, powerful presentation, and there is so much that I was able to relate to in her presentation, and I'm sure many of you online were able to relate or perhaps would have learned from her presentation. And so I'm going to ask you to try to be as engaged as possible. In Dirio, I will ask you to focus on the chat because I will love to see persons participating in the chat. Share your comments. If something jumps out at you, comment it in the chat. If you have a question, go ahead and put it in the chat. All right, I'll try to be as short and engaging as best as possible.
Sure.
No. Hello?
I was saying yes, sure, I will. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you so much. All right, so when we think about seizing opportunities and taking our career to the next level, this quote comes to mind, next level thinking. Now, in order to take our lives to the next level, we must realize that the same pattern of thinking that has gotten us to where we are now will not get us to where we want to be. And I got that quote from Tony Robbins. So I asked you to take a second and reflect. What would you have done last year or the year before in terms of preparing yourself for the next level? Ask yourself the question, what should my next chapter of my career look like, right? And once you have a response to that, it means that you're on the right path. Now, I have 8 nuggets that I will be sharing in terms of you reaching the next level in your career. And the first one is define what the next level looks like for you and start preparing for that next move before it actually happens. Now, I'm not sure how many of you would have heard the quote before, preparation eats talent for breakfast. Have you heard that before? Sure, some of you would have heard it. Now, what do we mean by that? If you fail to prepare, then it means that you're prepared to fail. So basically, preparation is a key ingredient in terms of preparing you for the next level. And as Naomi shared earlier, with regards to an individual who was an admin assistant and then the person transitioned to a manager, I too can relate to that. So Peter Gay would have shared my bio earlier and you would have realized that my journey would have started 16 years ago. And so I started as a filing clerk under the company Blue Cross of Jamaica. Sagicor would have subsequently merged with us back in 2008 or 2009. And so the transition continued. Fast forward to 2015, that's when my career journey in HR began. And so I started out as an HR administrative assistant. Suffice to say, I would have prepared myself. I remember at the time we were at the R. Danny Williams building, and that building has 12 floors. And I remember I was on the 9th floor working as an underwriting associate in the EBD department. I was studying HR, wasn't getting the experience in HR, but every time when I was going up in that elevator, I would look down on the 7th floor for which the HR department is. And I would tell myself that one day I am going to work into HR. I am going to be a part of the HR department. And so the preparation started by visualizing it, subsequently enrolling in university, doing my first degree in business administration and specializing in HR. Later on, I would have done my MSc at the UA, where I specialize in the human resource development. So when we talk about preparation, it's the work that you are putting in that will propel you to take your career to the next level. The second point that I want to mention is ask for feedback, input from a trusted advisor or mentor. And I will encourage all of you on this call, try to get someone who you trust to be a mentor. All of us need an accountability partner, right? This is the person who will keep you on your toes, give you constructive criticism, hold you accountable to your goals, right? So you need to ensure that you have this person in your corner who you can share your goals with, seek tips from them in terms of how you can advance your goals and how you can advance to the next stages in your career. This is very important. Thirdly, I encourage you to identify potential sponsors. And what do I mean by this? Now, in identifying potential sponsors, you can look at networking, right? Networking is very important. In my field, in the private sector, we talk about knowing our clients, creating a list of ideal clients, identifying your target market. So you as an administrative professional, when you think about the next chapter in your career, if it is that you're working in HR or you're working in finance, and for the next 2 years or the next year, you see yourself advancing in a different role, how are you connecting with people who will assist you to advance to the next level? If it is that you need to do some cross-training in another area, are you making the connections? Are you networking with persons in the finance department or the HR department or whatever department it is that you have an interest in? It could be marketing. How are you networking so that when an opportunity comes, you know, someone can speak on your behalf or information can be shared with you so that you can advance to the next level? I also want to look at keep online professional profiles and ensure that your resume is up to date. Now, this is very important. When we talk about your resume, think about your brand. What is your brand? Ask yourself that question. What is my brand? When someone looks at me, when someone listens to how I speak, what are they seeing, right? And so I encourage you to take a professional headshot, update your LinkedIn profile, look at your resume. Have you done any recent professional courses that you currently don't have on your resume? Ensure that your resume is up to date. Perhaps you completed your first degree 5 years ago. Have you done any short courses during that time? Are you currently studying? Have you done any cross-training in any other field? Are you doing any outreach program? Ensure that you're keeping your resume up to date at all times. Next, I'll say make time to upskill. And what does this mean? And I'll share with you from a private sector standpoint, when a team member, when we talk about upskilling basically helps an organization to remain competitive in a quickly changing environment, right? So you need to look at the skills that your company need to success now and in the future, right? Now, COVID would have caused many of us to pivot, right? We all had to be resilient and we all had to pivot during the pandemic, and we're still doing that. Now, you may be working as an administrative assistant. However, you might have done other courses where you have other talent or other skill sets in other areas. So you want to ensure that you're constantly upgrading your skill set, you're upskilling, and you're sharing that information with your supervisor or your manager so that they are aware of the other areas in which you're able to perform. So you're not just an admin assistant who is able to take the minutes and to ensure that records are up to date, but you're also good at public speaking, right? You also have an excellent accounting background, so you can assist in the accounts department as well. So you have to ensure that you're current in terms of what is happening, and you are constantly upgrading your skill set. All right. You also want to excel in your current role. So currently, you're an administrative assistant. How good of an admin assistant you are? What was your last performance appraisal looking like? What were your strengths? What were those areas that you need to develop on? Ensure that you're constantly strengthening in terms of your performance so that when an opportunity presents itself, you are ready to take that on. Next, you want to build a network, right? And in building a network, you want to ensure that you're a part of external clubs such as the Rotary Club. What about the Toastmasters Club? You know, what are some of the other things that you are doing outside of your current day-to-day job, right? You want to ensure that your circle is expanded. You are connecting with other persons in other areas that can perhaps share information with you or can make recommendations for you or about you. So you need to ensure that you're not just bogged down on 9 to 5, but you're also exposing and expanding in other areas. And the last point on this is to get outside of your comfort zone. And there's another quote that says, growth does not happen in your comfort zone. So for example, me being on here today is outside of my comfort zone. Public speaking, I would say, is not an area of strength for me. However, it is one that I have recognized. And so every opportunity I get to speak to external parties, I take it on and I challenge myself to do better each time. So I encourage you to get out of your comfort zone, challenge yourself to do things that you're usually not ready to do or you're usually fearful of doing, right? And that is how you will grow each time, all right? And the last thing that I want to leave with you is this quote: discipline leads to habits, habits lead to consistency, and consistency leads to growth. And that quote is from The Growing Investor. So team of administrative professionals, I challenge you to be disciplined. I challenge you to be consistent. I challenge you to step outside of your comfort zone. And I wish for you a productive, a healthy, a purpose-driven 2022. Thank you.
Thank you, Kadian, for such lovely, innovative nuggets. Discipline and consistency, I agree, are key in forming great habits, and habits lead to growth. You know, it's interesting. You don't like public speaking, neither do I. I was volunteered also for this role. And, you know, I said to my colleague, you know, I don't really love public speaking, you know, and I'm so busy. But, you know, you mentioned something earlier. We need to identify what is it that we need to conquer to get to the next level. And I have identified public speaking as one such thing. So I said to her, you know what? I will get over the fear. Let's do this, Kadian. So thank you for that. That resonated well with me. Colleagues, Kadian asked you to share in the chat. Though she might not be able to see it right now, I encourage you, share your questions for Kadian and Naomi and for Miss Facey when she comes. We want this to be so participative. It's for you. We want you to engage. You know, I just wanted to touch on some of the points that Kadian mentioned. Next level thinking, new patterns of thinking, of course, or old patterns or old behaviors or current behaviors certainly will not get us to the next level. We need to level up. Define what, you know, Kadian, vision. You mentioned that. We need to know what is it that we want. You know, it's difficult. We know, you know, it's hard to identify where we want to go, especially in our context, but it is something that we struggle with and something that we should try to do. And I'm so happy you spoke about that. What is our vision for ourselves, our careers, our family, our work, you know? Mentors, get an accountability partner. It is so important for us to grow. I'm so happy you mentioned that as well. And networking, so critical and so important, both within our organizations and external. You know, 2 examples we've heard so far of where persons, you know, just step outside their comfort zone, level up to learn new skill sets from departments, and so they could be looked on for promotion. It is so critical. It's so critical in building your brand, you know, making new skills, excel in your current role. Efficiency and accountability is so important. So colleagues, let's level up. Let's get out of our comfort zone. Let's think of what our vision is. Thank you so much, Kadian. All right, Asnet, I invite you to introduce Mrs. Facey Thompson.
Right, our third speaker, Margaret Facey Thompson, has been employed at the UWI for over 27 years. Since August 2021, she has been reassigned as Administrative Officer in the University Risk Management Unit in the Office of Administration. In this role, she provides support and assists with the research required to continuously review and update the ERM policy, track and monitor the execution of the ERM operational and implementations plan, and execute periodic sensitization and training activities, among other tasks. Prior to this, Mrs. Facey Thompson was personal assistant to the Vice Chancellor and was involved in organizing and coordinating work projects and events in support of the university's mission, core values, and vision. This also involved interacting with staff, students, intergovernmental agencies, government representatives, and other stakeholders. Mrs. Facey Thompson continues to play an integral part in the planning and implementation of university functions. Margaret is currently the acting president of the Association for Caribbean Higher Education Administrators, ACCA. She has served this association with distinction in various capacities, as well as the planning of annual conferences, seminars, and ACCA's 20th anniversary symposium held last July. In 2018, she served as a conference chair for the ACCA conference held in Jamaica, as well as the chair of the program committee for the ACCA conference held in 2016. Mrs. Facey Thompson has developed and implemented a mentorship program for adolescent girls in the community of Cedar Valley in Kingston, Jamaica. She holds a MSc in government, specializing in regional governance, and a BSc honors in international relations with a minor in public policy and administration, both from the University of the West Indies. Mrs. Facey Thompson, welcome.
Thank you, Asada. Let me share my screen. Okay, thank you very much. All right, thank you, Asada, for the introduction. And with the limited time that I have, I'll just get right into it. But I just want to acknowledge the other panelists, Mrs. Holness and Ms. Morris. The good thing when you're speaking last in a forum is that they do the heavy lifting and I do the lighter stuff. But the lighter stuff is no less important. So let me go ahead. All right, may I ask our admin professionals, I just want to thank the team on the Mona campus for this initiative, for recognizing today that our administrative professionals are important. No organization can function without you. May I ask my participants that are joining today, think about this question, and I want you to do as soon as it comes to your mind, as soon as I say the question, it comes to your mind, I would ask that you jot it down on a piece of paper or put it in the chat, because I'm interested to know what some of the responses are. So not to overthink it. Once I ask a question, just put your answer quickly, the first thing that comes to your mind in the chat. So you just inherited, you just hear that our uncle died and you inherited US $10 million. I'm not gonna say Jamaica because you know Jamaica money really don't have a lot of value. So you've inherited US $10 million. What is the first thing that comes to your mind? So I'd like you to think on that, and if possible, write it in the chat, because we'll come back to that. So I want to look today at the topic I was given was adding value to your role. Adding value in my role. So I'm going to look at who are you? Who do you think you are? Why do you think you're here? How do you level up? How do you add value to your role? How should you do it? Why should you do it? When should you do it? And I believe that my introduction is best articulated in these quotes. The first question, who are you? And I'm answering, as Maya Angelou said, I'm not normal. I'll try my best not to remain normal because I'm amazing. Why are you here? I'm here not to be whole, not to be perfect, sorry, but more to be whole. I'm here to strive for success, not just success though, but strive to be of value. What should you do? Success is the sum of small efforts. It's repeated day in and day out. When should you do it? Thomas Watson said, if you want to achieve excellence, you can get there today. As of this second, quit doing less than excellent work. So who are you? The definition that when I was searching for who an administrative professional is, the definition says it's a person who is responsible for administrative tasks and coordination of information in support of an office-related environment, and who are dedicated to furthering their personal and professional growth in their chosen profession. And I want you to take special note of the words in bold: dedicated to furthering your personal and professional growth. And then I looked further and I found these duties, these generic, very, very generic duties that they say an administrative professional should perform. And we know the duties. Some include answering the phone, scheduling meetings, coordinating travel arrangements, and all of that. So that's what the society, the world says that administrative professionals are. But I want to posit today that who are you really? Are you going to stay in the box that society says, because I'm an administrative professional, this is what I'm going to do? Are you going to stay in the box? But I want to tell you today, you're more than a job description. Think outside the box. For those or Jamaican persons that are here, there's an ad on the television that I laugh every time I watch that ad. It's an ad from Alcor Windows and Doors, where they test these window, the glass, the material that they used for doors and windows. They test them to see if they're bulletproof, if they're smash resistant. And the part that got to me was when they had the glass and they told the staff to stand behind the glass, and the staff said, no, make management do it. And that just tells me then that we're not, you know the phrase, this is above my pay grade. I think it's time that we stop thinking of things beyond and above our pay grade because we're more than a job description. You're also more than a paycheck. I believe that no monetary figure can represent your value. You are gifted. There must be something that you are good at. You are unique. There's no other person that is like Marvette Facey Thompson, or like Naomi Holness, or like Peter Gay. There's nobody like you. You are important because you must add some value to whatever you do. And you can be better because you're a work in progress. And my mind, I'm recalling when I was doing this presentation, I'm recalling once, long time ago, when I was much younger, I happened to call a department over by the Faculty of Social Sciences. And the young lady that answered the phone, I was blown away. Every chance I got, I spoke about her. I didn't know her, but the voice, the way she answered the phone. She didn't answer the phone like, yes, I'm just here to answer the phone. I'm the receptionist. She answered the phone. You want to just call the department just to hear her voice, you know? So that was very impressive. I also remember one of our office attendants, Mrs. Warren, who used to serve us coffee. She's retired now. When Mrs. Warren serves a cup of tea or a cup of coffee, it just tastes different. She puts love in it. So it doesn't matter the task that you are assigned, you can add value to your task. Why are you here? Jack London says the proper function of a man is to live, not to exist. So he will not waste his days in trying to prolong them. He used his time. So why are you here? And I mean here, not virtually in the forum. I mean here, where are you? What's your state? What are you at work? What level are you at work? What level are you in your personal life? So are you here to get paid? I'm just here to get a paycheck. Can't bother with anything else. Or are you here to add value, to effect change, to live and not just to exist? So then, we're leveling up and we're adding value because we're not just here to occupy space or just to get a paycheck. So leveling up. For those who plays video games, to become a master in a game, it doesn't come overnight. It's something you have to practice, and you move from one level to the other, to the next, until you reach master. So leveling up is to improve your current situation in a way that feels like a powerful shift. And adding value is to increase in the value of a resource, product, or service as a result of a particular process, not an overnight thing. But switch it around. I'm challenging you today to switch it around. Instead of coming to work just to get a salary so that you can enjoy life, how about working to enjoy life and then everything else will fall in place? What should you do? And our panelists spoke about this, your career and your purpose. Steve Jobs said that your work fills a large part of your life. And the only way to be satisfied is to do what you believe is great work. The only way to do this is to do what you love and love what you do. If you haven't found it yet, keep looking. Don't settle. You will know when you find it. For me, personally, I love working on projects. I love planning events. And I just love watching it all come together. If you spend too much time thinking about something, you will never get it done. Your health and your well-being. So I'm talking about the whole man, not just work-related. World Health Organization says that health is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. Foster relationships, foster partnerships. Our speaker spoke about networking. You know, in your personal life, foster these friendships. Have a girls' night out, have a boys' night out. You know, take time out. nurture these friendships. It helps to build you. Your spirituality, it can have a positive impact on mental health. It can help a person to tolerate stress by generating peace, purpose, and forgiveness. What should you do again? Volunteer, help others. Nothing is more rewarding than giving assistance to those who need it. Life enrichment. What is your passion? Are you good at baking? Are you good at public speaking, as one of our panelists said? Go after it. Skills you want to learn, places you want to travel to, acknowledge your weaknesses and build on your strength. Life skills. Be flexible, positive, proactive, focused, forward-thinking, and the list goes on. And importantly, keep your skills up to date. I mean, if you don't invest in yourself, who is going to invest in you? You have to see the need that I want to grow. I want to move from where I am. I started working at the university over 27 years ago. I came in as a clerical typist. And I realized that and I don't just want to remain a clerical typist. And it's not about status. It's about me improving myself, my outlook on life. I studied and I went through and I got various promotions and where I am now. So it's important not to just be satisfied in just coming to work. And the funny thing is, I've seen it and I've heard it. There are individuals who come to work and they complain about everything. They complain when it's time to get a promotion, but they do not do anything to help them to get the promotion. And that's the mindset that we need to change. So what should you do? And one of the suggestions I'm making, I'm representing the Association of Caribbean Higher Education Administrators. I'm introducing ACIA to you as one of the ways to develop your skills, to get involved in networking and other associations. ACIA was launched in 2021 at the Mona campus. It is comprised of an august body of professionals, academic, administrative, and technical, who have come together with the main goal of promoting excellence in higher education in the region and beyond. Our benefits include professional development, networking, building research capacity and presentation skills, and attendance and participation in webinars on various topics. And if you see at the bottom of the screen, you'll see our upcoming events. Today, we have a webinar on financial health during the COVID-19 pandemic, and our annual conference, which is scheduled for July 7th to 9th in Trinidad and Tobago, on the Sustainable Development Goals and Resilience in Higher Education, a call to action. Why should you do it? Not because Marvet said so, or Naomi said so, or Kadian said so, but you're going to do it for you, for your self-fulfillment. Because Charles Dickens says it's not the strongest of the species that survive, nor the most intelligent, but the ones most responsive to change. So when should you do it? How about now?
I probably don't want to ask her because she's
do not procrastinate. It's now that we need to do it. Because as Maslow said, one can choose to go backward towards safety or forward toward growth. Growth must be chosen again and again. Fear must be overcome again and again.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
The question that was asked earlier.
Or 9.
If you inherited $10 million, what was the first thing come to your mind? I know I can say for some purposes, the first thing that they would do is quit their job. That's the first thing they do, quit my job. But after you quit your job, what would you do? Would you just live off the $10 million? Or you're going to find ways to, since I don't have to go to a 9-to-5, I'm going to find ways to add value. I'm going to volunteer some more. I'm going to start a foundation to help underprivileged youth. You know, those are things that we need to talk about and think about. How do we make a difference? Not just in our lives, but in the lives of others. So in concluding, I just want to draw your attention to this little image. Three persons, one at the top. Recognize that there will always be persons a little ahead of you, but also recognize that you can get there too. And if you're at the bottom, encourage those who are progressing. Add value, not just to your role, but add value to your life. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Stacey Thompson. Colleagues, I hope you are absorbing the presentations and that you have some burning questions to answer. But I just wanted to say, just share some nuggets from Mrs. Thompson's presentation. You know, she had some very good questions. You know, who am I? Where am I? When should I start to act? And most importantly, she said, and she reminded us, because sometimes here at UE, we can get bogged down with this. We think that we are a JD. Remember, we are more than a JD. We are more than a paycheck. We are all unique and gifted individuals who are all important. She reminded us of that fact. Thank you, Mrs. Stacey. We can all do better. We can all level up. She spoke about volunteering to help others, to help ourselves. You know, learning life skills, keeping our skills up to date. That is, it's repeating through all the speakers. You see how important it is to keep up to date. It is important to level up. And she added a very important aspect too, networking and the joining of professional organizations. It is so very important. Colleagues, it is now time for our Q&A. I ask you to post your questions in the chat. I will get them in the chat on YouTube. I will get them and I will post them to the panelists. You know, you heard Mrs. Holness and Miss Morris spoke about how much they want to engage you. I'm sure Mrs. Stacey is looking forward to your questions. You may choose to ask a general question, or you can have a question to a particular panelist. Whichever you choose, it is up to you, right? There are so many takeaways from this, ladies and gentlemen. The floor is now open for your questions, and we welcome all of them. Questions? I have one here to begin with while you settle on what you want to ask for our panelists. I'm just going to throw this out, general panelists. Anyone can answer at the beginning. Someone asked, how important is training and skills development in seizing opportunities to leveling up?
Okay, perhaps I can start, since I was the one who threw out the idea that you know, I wasn't going to focus on skills, but they're important. I think one of the panelists spoke about the fact that you have to be ready. You have to be ready for the opportunity that presents itself. So skills are important. I spoke about attributes, but coupled with the skills, the ability to. That's very important in acing that opportunity. So it's about continuous development. But when you're internal, and I mean, I can't speak for the UWI, but I can speak for Grace Kennedy in my experience and other, you know, another working environment. Sometimes we don't find the perfect fit, but we are willing to invest if you have the right attitude and certain critical skills that we need in the role. So building the knowledge can occur on the job, but what I think is critical is you have to have a clear plan. We spoke about it already, about understanding what you want. So it starts with knowing what you want and then exploring what are the opportunities. I'm not sure how opportunities are advertised or are made available within the university system, but a growing university, as you have, I'm sure, has many opportunities coming up. Understanding the growth path of the university and what new opportunities may come up would be very important then in looking and saying, what role do I want to go after? And then having identified that role or roles that you want to go after, find out, Kadian spoke about mentors, getting information, what do I need to do? What are the skills required for that job? So if I've determined that I want to go after a particular job, what are the skills needed for that job? And then how am I going to equip myself so that when the opportunity comes up, I can compete? Again, I've heard people say, oh, them know who they want for the job already, so I'm not even putting my hat in the ring. That's foolish, because sometimes you don't get that job, but you present a new image to that panel. They see you differently when you have prepared for that interview and you go in and you sell yourself. Maybe you never got that first one, but they now have eyes on you, and that next opportunity may be yours. So to wrap up my answer, skills are important. Build them over time, especially if you're clear about where you want to go. But there are some universal skill sets that can also propel you into other opportunities. So it should be a lifelong learning opportunity for you to build on your skills.
And may I just add to that, Naomi, that it's also important to gain these skills, because as we've said, I think all three of us said it, is that the landscape is changing, the environment is changing. So you have to change with it. You can't stay at the same place where you began, so that's important also.
Absolutely.
Okay. I have another, Naomi. Well, sorry, I meant to say Kadian. I see you have posted in the chat, so I'll move to the next question. All right. How do I navigate barriers and encountered in aligning my skill set and leveling up? How do I navigate encounters in aligning my skill set and for me to level up? Anyone? It's a general question.
Kadian, you want to start?
Yeah.
I was just kind of playing over the question in my head. The person is trying to understand how to navigate barriers that they may encounter.
Yeah, so I take it to mean that, sometimes when I want to level up or I want to cross train or I want to volunteer, there may be some barriers, interpersonal skills, politics. So I had another question about somebody asking, how do they navigate the politics of the workplace? I thought I'd just combine these questions. It may be that. It's my interpretation.
Right, so I'll leave the politics part of it, but I'll take on in terms of navigating the barriers. Now, for example, and this is why it is so important for you as an individual to create a roadmap in terms of where do you see yourself over a period of time. Now, some persons might visualize it in the sense of a vision board. So some persons have a vision board that they would go and write down, okay, next year, this is where I should be, and progress as the years go by. Now, it is important that in doing that, you are preparing yourself. And I spoke about it earlier in terms of preparation. So one of the barriers that you may encounter is, for example, you're in the banking industry, you started out as a teller, you want to transition into corporate banking, but you're currently working as a client-facing team member, right? You don't have the experience in corporate banking. What is it that you are doing to prepare yourself so that when an opportunity comes up in corporate banking, you're able to transition? Now, are you preparing yourself for the interview? Many times, internal team members take it for granted that because you're internal, it means that it must be a smooth transition once an opportunity is presented. Not necessarily. You are also competing against other internal candidates, never mind external candidates. So you ask yourself the question, do I have the skill sets that is required for this role? You look at the job description for the role. Perhaps when you have completed your daily task, you may want to go down to corporate banking and do some informal cross-training. Maybe you would have applied for the cross-training program. You're told that your application is placed on hold. Why wait for that to come through? Why not take the initiative and find a different avenue to strengthen those areas that you will need, that will enable you to be an ideal candidate for that role? So the point I'm making is, if it is that you're trying one route or one avenue to get to where you want to go and it's not happening for you, don't get stuck. Try different options. Look at the landscape, look at the environment that you're in. Network, talk to people, let people know that you have an interest, and prepare yourself so that when the opportunity comes up, you are ready. Maybe it is that you need to advance your academic background. You currently have a first degree in banking and finance. You want to go into corporate and commercial banking. Perhaps you need to enroll at UA, of course, to do a corporate finance master's degree. So prepare yourself is one of the key ingredients in terms of overcoming some of the obstacles that you may encounter as you try to chart your career path.
If I could just add, Mr. Dojo. So yes, some critical points that Kadian mentioned, that I want to just highlight this one about preparation for interviews. And, you know, I've said to myself that when I retire, I'd like to just do a voluntary service to help people between 30s and 40s compete for jobs. They are least prepared. Many times they start out early, and perhaps some never even did a proper interview, and then just don't know how to handle themselves in an interview. When I'm going for an interview, and I've done a few in my lifetime, I study for my interview. I research everything about the job. I go in there like I wasn't in the company. And I research and study, and I go in there and I talk about the impact that I can make in the job, not just, you know, the skills, but what experience do I have? We talk about the acronym of STAR, giving situations, tell a story of a situation of something, you know, of something you did. What was the task? What were the results? How you know, what actions did you perform, and what was the outcome? And you speak to that and how you can add value in the role. And I don't think a lot of our internal candidates really spend time to learn about the area. They are inside, they can call, they can talk to people who had the job before and find out. And I've seen where somebody from an entire, like in GK, you know, you can compete for jobs across many companies and departments. And I've seen somebody who was not in the team come in and get the job over the person. And what I did for her, I asked her if she would like some feedback from the interview, the one who everybody thought would have got it. And I spoke with her and I said, I was disappointed in your performance. You know, you have the technical skills, but you did not present that you were going to bring anything new to the table. You did not speak about the value you could make by the skills that you have. You could not talk about some of the challenges that you see in the business, you know, happening in the team and how you'd overcome them. So why would we, the other person came in and did all of that, and she had experience from another company. She was going to bring something new and fresh. And so I said to her, next time you need to prepare, you need to impress the panel that the job is yours. And she thanked me. And she later on competed for another job and got it. And, you know, she called me to tell me that she appreciated the feedback. So the point is that some of these barriers, you need to prepare to overcome them. You need to talk to people who have gone the way before. So this thing about mentoring, you know, look for people who you have seen excelling and find out what was their journey? What were the things that affected them or helped them, and go out there and find out and help to create that path. So there's a career model that we use when we do career counseling here. The model is called Know, Explore, Plan, and Act. Know yourself, know what you want, you know, what exactly are you going after? Then explore the opportunities. Look at what the university, as I said, what is the university's growth path? What opportunities may exist there for you? Create that development track for yourself. As Kadian said, if you need to get a degree, if you need to get some specialized skills, what are those key things? And then, of course, connect with the people to help you. So if it's your manager or your HR or whoever, to help you to work through that plan and then act on the plan. And just like how the businesses plan each year, what they're going to do for the year. What's your plan for your year? What are you going to do over the next 5 years? What's your plan for your life? And then you follow that plan and you assess, evaluate, how good did I do? And if I didn't do well, what do I need to do differently? So create that same business plan that the business has, you have a personal plan for your life.
Thank you, Naomi. And Indira will do. All right. Marvet, do you have any comments? I have 2 final questions. We are at time. So we did promise that we would not keep you here for long. So just checking. All right. Another
You can
question.
go ahead.
Sure, thank you. This question is, should I channel my networking endeavors to AP groups only, admin professional groups only? I see Katie and shaking her head. Go ahead, Katie.
I can't.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Sure. We spoke about not staying in the box. So because you're an administrative professional, it doesn't mean, sorry, let me turn on the camera. It doesn't mean that you need to just stick to being an administrative professional. You want to be marketable. So you may go for an interview, and the interview is for an administrative professional. But the interviewer may ask, what else are you good at? What else are you involved in? I don't want to just employ somebody who's just focused, narrow focus. I want somebody else who has a little experience in public speaking, because you don't know, an opportunity can come for you to do something else apart from what you are trained to do. So no, I would spread my wings as much as I can.
Sure, thank you. Any other comments, colleagues, before I move to the final question?
I'm sorry, I was distracted. What was the question?
It was asking, should we limit, should I limit the groups that I network into admin professional groups?
No. The example I gave of the person who transitioned to brand management is because she was actively involved in other activities. Whenever there is an event, so for example, the university coordinates a lot of functions, a lot of fora. How do you get involved and build a new set of network? It depends on what you want, though. If you're comfortable to stay as an admin professional, that's fine. But if you want to branch out into some other areas, you need to find the groups. I heard a very successful man say that he has many different mentors. He has a mentor for the financial side of his life, for his personal life, for family, for this part of his life, and so on. And I was amazed at that because at the time when I heard it, I never viewed it that way. But you can have mentors in different areas. So a lot, as we've said before, is dependent on your path, what you want to do, where you want to go. And if you want to go into a new area, then you should be building a network of persons within that area.
Thank you, Naomi. So, joining clubs like Toastmasters, if you want to do public speaking, service clubs are also important. Q1 is Rotary Optimist. So thank you for that. So, all right.
Right, Indira, if I may, I just wanted to add to Marvet and Naomi. I think Marvet spoke to it in terms of not putting yourself in a box, because sometimes we have some hidden talents, that we're really not even aware of. And it's when you are placed in a space that, persons commend you and you're like, oh, I never realized I was good at that. So it is very important, as Marvet alluded earlier, to not place yourself in a box. So yes, you're an administrative assistant now, but who knows, you might have some very good marketing skills. You may have the personality for human resources. So it's important that as you go along, you're not just having a tunnel vision, but you are expanding and exploring other options that are available.
Thank you, colleagues. So our final question is, well, it's more a request. Can this panelist speak a little more about taking advantage of free resources in pursuing continuing education and for opportunities to level up? Can the panelists speak a little more about taking advantage of free resources in pursuing continuing education or the continuing learning process and in the process of leveling up?
For my benefit, free resources, in what sense?
I think, I mean, maybe like online sessions, maybe MOOCs, maybe seminars, maybe things on Google, YouTube. If the person who asked the question want to elaborate, let me know. So I think that's what they mean.
All right, and just ask the question again, please, Indira.
Perhaps the panelists can speak a little more about taking advantage of free resourcing in pursuing continuing education and the opportunity to level up.
Well, let me just start with the university. So maybe someone from the university can speak to that, but I would like to think that somebody who is working with the university would have access to a lot of free, and I'm putting it that way, maybe some discounted, some you know, just as I mentioned before, forum that you can attend, public sessions, special sessions that's organized that you can attend to learn a lot more. So I'm thinking that the university is a great place to you know, to facilitate that. But nowhere, none of the, in my time growing up, we didn't have the resources that we have now through YouTube and Google and so on in terms of drawing on content that's out there. So I say to even my children now, you guys have it good. Yeah, you can go and learn so much. You can read. You can you know, get free material that you can read and enrich your mind. So you don't have, it doesn't have to be a formal course. But I also dare say, and I'm in the university space, I don't know, I can speak freely, but I learned recently that there's a tremendous amount of opportunity through heart for skills which are paid for by us, our taxpayers, right? That you can go and develop and get certification in various ways. And I'm thinking, depending on what your interests are, you might, you know, I'm not suggesting that you're gonna move, but you might find that you have other talents that are income generating that can, you know, help to build your repertoire of opportunities for later on, you know. So I don't think we have to pay for a lot of it. I doubt we have to, but even so, it would be at very low rates to go and get certification in various skills at heart. But I'm thinking somebody from the university may have some information about some of the courses or free resources that may be available to help. But I think a lot starts with asking the questions about what you want and then going after it.
Thank you, Naomi. Any other panelists would like to respond to that?
Right. In addition to what Naomi mentioned, there is also Udemy online. They offer quite a few free courses as well. So I encourage persons on this call to take advantage of those courses as well.
I heard Coursera as well.
Correct. Yes.
All right. Even for our ACIA, the Association of Caribbean Higher Education Administrators, we put on webinars from time to time, and it's mostly giving information to our participants, to members, to other persons, not all our members, but we usually have our free webinars and workshops. That is very useful. So as I suggested, you could check out our website and check.
So there's one more thing I'd like to add. So I spoke about the power of YouTube, and as an admin professional, how good are your Excel skills, for example? You know, you can do a course on YouTube. In fact, one of my managers wanted to learn how to do formulas, the more advanced level of Excel in order to solve a problem on a machine. And he told me he figured it out, and I said, what he did? He said, I went to YouTube and I found the video, and I learned the advanced part of Excel, and I was able to figure out the formula to fix the issue. I'm just saying that there's a lot of material around, and if we start searching for it, I believe we'll find it.
I agree, Naomi, because I can give this example. When my son was learning to drive, would you believe that he went on YouTube and he taught himself how to parallel park?
Wow.
He learned on YouTube how to parallel park. So yes, use the resources that are free, that you don't have to pay for. But at the same time, remember that you have to invest in yourself. So if it means that you have to put something aside to pay, then you have to do that too.
Right. Negotiate your discounts with you. I'm sure there's that facility too, right, Mr. Duja?
Oh, anything is possible. All right. Thank you, colleagues. The YouTube university is real. All right. You know, we are actually coming to.
You've gone on mute.
Thank you very much. Right, we have actually come to almost to the end of our program. This was such an informative and robust Q&A session. I'm sure my colleagues have taken away some nuggets that will assist us in helping us to level up, as we say. My colleagues at Mona, I invite you to stay tuned in to the next two sessions that we have in store for you. Those will be in June and July, and you will hear a lot more about it through Mona messaging. So at this point, I invite my colleague, Miss Asnet Sharp, to bring the vote of thanks. Ms. Sharp.
Yes, thank you very much, Indira, and thank you, everyone. It is my pleasure to move the vote of thanks for this 2022 Administrative Professionals Virtual Roundtable. A toast to our esteemed speakers on the program for taking the time to share with us today. Special thanks to our UWI senior leaders who brought greetings, Dr. Marina Ramkison, Dr. Adrian Lawrence, and Mr. Jeffrey Thompson, who all brought their greetings in the context of the theme of leveling up from different perspectives. As Dr. Lawrence pointed out, leveling up should not be taken to mean that we're not currently good enough, but that there is always room for improvement. Increased efficiency will open the door to achieving greater success. To our speakers, Mrs. Naomi Holness, we thank you for your excellent insights on the skills, knowledge, and abilities for the 21st century. We are leaving this discussion reminded to have an attitude that we are going to make an impact. From Ms. Kadian Morris, who spoke on seizing opportunities and taking my career to the next level, we will remember your quote, the quote you used, preparation eats talent for breakfast. We will make time to upskill. From Mrs. Margaret Facey Thompson, we asked ourselves, if I don't invest in myself, who is going to? A special thanks to the technical team from MITS led by Ishmael Preston, our video editing person, Toyon Ferdinand, and last but not least, Saeed Bowman, who played the beautiful steampunk renditions of Toast and I Can. And finally, I thank the team of AOs who organized this memorable event, because there has been so many takeaways, and we leave the more enriched for the time spent here this morning. Thank you. And thank you for being a wonderful audience.
Thank you.